Hello friends! Welcome to the first video of my 13 Days of Halloween series here on YouTube. If you didn't know, every day for the next 13 days I'm going to be uploading a brand new Halloween themed Tumbler tutorial, and today I've got a great Tumbler design for you. At least I think so. I hope you guys really like it. I had so much fun putting this Tumbler together, and I really hope you guys enjoy the tutorial. If you do, make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are not already, and of course let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'll have a full supply list of everything I'm using in this video down below in the description box. I'll also have some discount codes for you, as well as links to all of my social media pages if you would like to follow along with me anywhere else. Okay, I think that's it. I really hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you enjoy the entire series. Thanks for watching, and that's it. Let's go! We're starting with a 30-ounce skinny straight tumbler. This is a powder-coated black one from Craft Haven. I've got it on my turner, and I'm going to start by doing a quick glitter method here. So I've got about 30-ish milliliters of my Flynn Sisters Artist Cure Epoxy, and I'm going to add in, as you can see, quite a bit of Brite from Peachy Olive Glitters. You can use any fine-cut, super sparkly glitter that you want. What we're going for here is just a really basic, simple sparkle. This is going to be mostly covered up. This is just going to be the peekaboo sections. So if you want to glitter this traditionally, you can, or if you want to use the cheat glitter method like I am here, whatever you want to do is totally fine. This is going to be the area that shows through on your peekaboo. So I'm going to cover my entire tumbler with this glitter and epoxy mixture. I'm going to torch it really well to pop any bubbles, and then I'm going to let this spin for about like 8 to 12 hours before we move on to the next step. So once this layer of epoxy is cured, I'm ready to move into my first set of stripes. We're going to use this super cute sheet of vinyl. This is from Peachy Olive Glitters. The name of the pattern is Floral Spooky Ghosts, and I'm going to use my stripe template to cut out my stripes and apply them to my tumbler. We've got 2 stripes cut out of our pattern vinyl. So we are going to do 2 pattern vinyl stripes and then 3 peekaboo sections, so they're going to alternate. So we want to have glitter peekaboo on the top and glitter peekaboo on the bottom, because that'll be easier to finish. So we are going to use a little spacer here. So this is essentially the stripe that I cut out and cut in half. So we're going to use this to help us place our stripes and make sure that everything is even. So I'm going to take this template or spacer, and I'm going to line that up with the top rim of my tumbler, just like that. So now I know that I can line my stripe up with this line down here. So I'm going to take my first stripe, and I'm just going to start anywhere I want, doesn't matter. And I'm going to line up the stripe with that bottom edge of my spacer, and I'm just going to work it straight all the way around. Hopefully it will be straight. Okay, we don't have a ton of overlap here, so I'm just going to leave that as is. And I'm going to take my spacer, and I'm going to replace it right in the middle of our cup and use it again. I'm going to line it up here with the bottom edge of our vinyl now. And then place our second stripe the exact same way we did the first one. Maybe a little better than we did the first one, actually. I just want to make sure that I line my seams up. So we've got our 2 stripe sections, and then we've got our 3 peekaboo sections. So we're going to epoxy over this, and then we'll tape these off and do our peekaboo. We're gonna do a coat of epoxy over this so that we have a perfectly smooth surface, and we're gonna go in and sand down our top rim really well, sand down our bottom really, really well, and I wanna protect our 2 stripes of the vinyl with epoxy before we go in and do any of that aggressive sanding. So I added my coat of epoxy to my tumbler, and now I'm going to go in and sand down the top rim of my tumbler really, really well, because we're going to do that peekaboo and we're going to need to sand down again later. We really want to make sure that we spend a lot of time sanding down the top rim now so that you don't see any of that black underneath our spray paint when we sand again. You want to have that thin line of stainless steel. So once I've done that, I wash my cup with my dish soap and water so it's ready to go. I'm going to take some 2-inch painter's tape and I'm going to tape off these 2 pattern vinyl stripe sections so that we can apply our stencils and do our peekaboo on the rest of our tumbler. For our peekaboo, we're going with some cute little ghosts. I've got some bats, some stars. I wanted to make sure that the theming, obviously, of the design went with the pattern vinyl that we're using. So I just pulled out some elements from the vinyl, cut those out of my stencil vinyl, and now I'm going to just apply them by hand all over my tumbler randomly, just making sure that we don't have too many ghosts like right next to each other, if that makes sense. So I'm going to place those down first, and then I'm going to fill in all of the extra space with my bats and my stars and just make this as full as possible. Remember, the more stencils that you place down, the more your bottom glitter is going to show through. So just keep that in mind as you place everything down. So I spray painted the middle section of my tumbler with a coral spray paint, and then the top and bottom I used Dreamy Lavender from Rust-Oleum, and I let that dry for about an hour. And now I'm going to go in and peel up all of my stencil vinyl. This is my absolute favorite part. I love doing this. And I'm using my pin pen to peel up all my decals. I'm just going to go in very carefully and pull those up, trying not to scratch my paint or anything. We're not glittering over this. We're going to just have the spray paint be the main character here, so you want to be really careful with scratching your spray paint. You don't want to do that, so just take your time, be patient. We're just going to go through and peel all of these up and expose the glitter in all of our 3 stripes. There were a few sections in my peekaboo where the paint either seeped through or just looked a little messy, so I'm going to go through with a small paintbrush here and some acetone, and I'm just going to clean up those lines. You don't have to do this if your lines are clean, obviously, but I wanted to make my paint lines as clean as possible. We are going to outline these with some vinyl, so if they're just a little bit messed up, or like if they'll be covered by the outline, I'm not going to pay attention to that, but I just wanted to make sure that my lines were as clean as possible before I moved on to my vinyl outlines. So I took my acetone, removed the paint, and then I took some rubbing alcohol on a different brush and just cleaned up all of that paint residue so we didn't get any cloudy, messy look or anything on those glitter sections. I added another coat of epoxy to my tumbler to seal and protect that paint, and now we're ready to add our vinyl striping and all of our outlines to our peekaboo. So starting with my favorite vinyl, the textured metallic vinyl from Teckwrap Craft in the color Champagne Gold, I'm going to place that around each of our stripes. And once I've got that done, I'm going to go through and add some very thin white stripes right over that in the middle. We're going to do some white outlines on all of our peekaboos, and I wanted to tie in the white, make everything a little bit more bright. So I'm going to do the white stripes right on top of these champagne gold ones. Once my stripes have all been applied, I'm going to go through and apply the outlines to my peekaboos. You want to be really, really careful with this. Try to get your outlines lined up the best you can. But I'm just using my transfer tape here. I ended up switching transfer tapes. I was using the Teckwrap Craft black grid transfer tape, and that's just a little bit too strong. So I switched halfway through, but use whatever transfer tape you like the best. So as you can see, I'm just going to go through and apply my outlines. I'm doing all of my little ghosts first. I'll have a link to this SVG that I'm using for the ghosts down in the description box, along with everything else I'm using in the video. But I'm going to apply the ghosts first, and then I'm going to go through and apply the outlines to my stars and my bats. Now I cut out some additional small stars and stuff with that white vinyl, and I'm going to place those right over the spray paint, kind of in between our peekaboo sections to fill in the gaps, make everything just look a little bit more robust, and I want the space to be as filled in as possible, but of course that's totally optional. You don't have to do that step if you don't want to. After all of my outlines were applied, I sealed my vinyl with a coat of polyacrylic, and then I added my final 2 coats of epoxy. So we are all done with this design. I really, really, really love how this turned out, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, you know the drill. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel if you are not already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.